Hello and welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Telcoin and just how bullish this coin is this cycle. So we're starting off here with Telcoin over here on the left and Bitcoin's very first cycle over here on the right. And you can see the similarities between these two cycles, which is interesting because this is the very first cycle that Telcoin ever had, and this is the first cycle that Bitcoin ever had. So investing in Telcoin right now is a lot like buying Bitcoin way back in the day, back in 2012, when Bitcoin was worth just a few dollars and it went crazy after that. So the Telcoin chart is set up for a very parabolic run soon. As you can see, we have the same market structure. We're starting to recover just in the same way that Bitcoin did. And then Bitcoin saw a very vertical and parabolic run all the way to a new all-time high. And it's continued to grow since then. Now, once this coin starts to take off, it's going to be very, very vertical. The way crypto works, you have these huge pumps, these huge dumps, and then very long, painful accumulation periods, and then vertical movement comes directly after. And that's exactly what you can see over here on Bitcoin. We had a huge pump, a huge crash, a lot of consolidation, and then a very, very vertical move came right after. And like I said, Bitcoin continued to grow. It went vertical all the way not only to a new all-time high, but continually made higher highs and higher lows and continually formed market cycles all the way up to the price that it's at now, which is over $100,000 per coin. So you can see just how much a market can grow if you can get in on it early on. And that's what I believe Telcoin is today, is a very, very early investment. Only smart investors are buying Telcoin right now, and the retail money and all of the other people will start to come later. So be ready for a very vertical, very profitable move coming very soon on Telcoin that will make a lot of people very rich. Now, a lot of you guys are wondering just how high Telcoin could go, and over the long term, I believe Telcoin could hit as high as $1 per coin. As you can see with Bitcoin over here on the right, and that very first cycle on Bitcoin, and our first cycle over here on Telcoin, even if Telcoin only does half of what Bitcoin has done over the long term, then Telcoin can easily hit $1 per coin. So now that we've talked a little bit about the bigger picture on Telcoin, let's talk about what's happening here on the smaller time frames. If we go to the daily candlesticks, you can see, if we turn on our MACD, you can see bullish divergence forming here on this coin, with a lower low being made in price and a higher low being made on the MACD, which signifies that we should have a strong bullish reversal here on the daily candlesticks and start to see upside forming on this time frame, in which case that will coincide with that bigger picture parabolic move that we were just looking at on the bigger time frames. Now, the second that we can get above this resistance level up here at just over a penny, that's really where the parabolic movement is going to go full force, where we're going to see movement a lot like what we were looking at on Bitcoin, where it just goes completely vertical all the way to a new all-time high. And once it gets to that new all-time high, there's obviously going to be corrections and bull markets and bear markets along the way up. But over the long term, I believe Telcoin is headed for mass adoption and for a very, very long bullish market. Even though there will be corrections along the way and even bear markets, I believe Telcoin will do what Bitcoin did, where it continually grows over the long term. Another very useful comparison to look at here with Telcoin is Telcoin and Ethereum. We have Ethereum over here on the right and Telcoin over here on the left, and you can see the ABC correction here on Ethereum as well as the ABC correction here on Telcoin. Then Ethereum consolidated sideways, started to break out, but it had to have a correction right here before it really went parabolic, which is exactly what Telcoin is doing currently. So we could see a very, very parabolic run here soon based on this comparison, just because this correction right here is the exact same type of correction that Ethereum did right before Ethereum went vertical and parabolic. So whether we're talking about the long term over the big picture with Telcoin, I see a lot of bullishness coming for this coin. If we're talking about the short term, we see bullish divergence. If we're comparing it to Bitcoin, it looks exactly like early day Bitcoin. If we're comparing it to Ethereum, it looks exactly like Ethereum. So really, Telcoin looks a lot like investing in early day Bitcoin or investing in early day Ethereum, which means the profit potential is extremely large. And if you feel like you missed out on Ethereum or you feel like you missed out on Bitcoin, buying and holding Telcoin is a solution to make a lot of profit, and you won't have to worry about the fact that you missed out on Bitcoin or Ethereum. So this coin definitely is set up to make people very, very rich. Really, the only thing you got to do in terms of how to play this cycle is buy now and hold on. Let it do its thing. Let it go parabolic. Let it run just like how Bitcoin did, just like how Ethereum did, and hold on. Because this coin is set up for some very, very big moves over the long term and in the short term. So the opportunity is very high to make a lot of money on Telcoin. And you can see how these crypto cycles look. If you're zoomed out like this, it's very easy to see how parabolic they go, how big the corrections are. Everybody gives up on them. They all think they're dead. And then look how quickly they recover and go all the way to a new all-time high. And that's exactly what Telcoin is set up to do. So if you're a Telcoin investor and you feel like you've been waiting for a long time for a bull market and you're wondering if it's going to really take off, this video will give you hope and give you insight on what could be coming for the future of this coin, which I believe is very, very big things. So keep holding on, keep your faith, and you guys are going to make a lot of money on Telcoin. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. I love and appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and share it with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. And as always, stay profitable out there.